One of the leading activists against the war in Iraq is a San Francisco woman whose face pops up almost every protest you see. Her name is Medea Benjamim, a mother of two who seems to get thrown into jail almost monthly. So who is this woman? Political editor Randy Shandabell has our special report.
She seems to pop up everywhere and get arrested everywhere for angrily screaming at President Bush, disrupting Congress.
The chair notes disturbance in the gallery.
Interrupting the defense secretary.
I think we need weapons inspections, not war. Why are you obstructing the inspections?
And for crashing the 2004 Republican convention in New York, shouting at the vice president.
Mr. Cheney, stop the killing in Iraq! Mr. Cheney, how much money did you make on the war?
She's Medea Benjamim, a 54-year-old San Francisco mother of two.
No. Stop barking. No.
One of the founders of the human rights group Global Exchange and of the women's anti-war group CODEPINK. We talked to her at her home in Noe Valley.
Were it not for people protesting and going to jail, would we have gotten the right for women to vote? Would slavery have ended? Would we have a women's rights movement? Would we have a gay rights movement? No.
To her conservative critics, to the Bush administration, she's a rude, law-breaking nuisance. Even some liberals find tactics such as this, interrupting Condoleezza Rice's speech by standing in an Abu Ghraib black shroud, a bit much.
Stop the torture! Stop the killing! Condoleezza Rice is part of the torture!
But she says ever since 9/11, she has to resort to stunts to get her message across because police now keep protesters far away from political events, often even out of the range of news crews. How does she get into fundraisers?
You just buy a ticket online. Nobody's checking online who's buying tickets.
She gets passes from members of Congress to enter the Capitol, but by now, don't they know she'll cause a ruckus?
Sometimes we ask members of Congress who don't know us too well.
There she is with Hugo Chavez. She travels to Beirut, Afghanistan, meets with Mexican rebels. How does she pay for it?
We have 150,000 people on our email list. If I put out an alert today, by tomorrow, we would have money to do what we wanted to do.
Medea Benjamim wasn't always a radical. She grew up as Susie Benjamin, a, quote, nice Jewish girl from Long Island, New York. The same woman who now leads jeers against the president once led cheers for her high school football team.
I was a cheerleader, yes. I can still do some of those old cheers. Probably not the splits anymore. But I was a cheerleader, and I think of myself as still being a cheerleader. No, my parents were not activists. My father was a businessman. My mother was a housewife. We lived in a ho-hum suburb of Long Island.
But she says her mother didn't have ho-hum aspirations.
When I'd ask her who her role models were, she said Donald Trump, because he was so wealthy. She thought that it was important in life to show your worth by making a lot of money.
She wanted you to marry money, probably.
She wanted me to marry a nice Jewish lawyer or a nice Jewish doctor.
Benjamin didn't marry a nice Jewish doctor. She says she was radicalized by the Vietnam War and eventually married a fellow activist, Kevin Danaher, co-founder of Global Exchange.
Back from Beirut?
Well, Benjamin travels the world, often getting arrested. Danaher usually stays home with the kids.
You have these weird circumstances where the phone rings late at night and I'm on the phone talking about bail and lawyers, and, you know, my daughter says, "Mommy in jail again, Daddy," you know.
So, when you see videotape of her getting hauled off and arrested,
proud.
and
so proud.
she's screaming, and probably a lot of America's looking at her as some crazed wacko.
I'm saying,
you're thinking,
what I'm saying is, that's my wife, that's my wife. And it's contradictory because I can make all the jokes about, hey, you guys only have to deal with her for 5 minutes putting cuffs on her. I got to live with her every day. And, you know, friends of mine saying, hey, what's it like to live with a woman who's got bigger balls than you, you know?
When I started getting involved in this kind of work, my parents thought it was a phase. And I remember my mother kept saying, well, I was, 20 and then 25 and then 30 and then 35. When's she going to get out of this phase? When's she going to get a real job? settle down, be a real mother.
Judging by her latest arrests, apparently not anytime soon. Political editor Randy Shandabell, KTVU Channel 2 News.